The Digital Psyche, Jungian Wisdom for the Modern Coder. Episode 2, The Shadow in Your IDE, Integrating Your Bad Code and Worst Habits. Hello, and welcome back to The Digital Psyche, the podcast where we compile the wisdom of Carl Jung to debug the human operating system. I'm your host, Rakibul Hasan, and I'm glad you're here with us again. Last time, we talked about the mask we wear, the persona. Today, we go deeper. We go into the darkness. Picture this. It's 11 p.m. The deadline is tomorrow. The feature isn't working, the tests are failing, and the pressure is immense. You know the right way to fix it. The elegant, scalable, well-documented way. It would take hours you don't have. So, you do something else. You write a quick, dirty hack. You comment out the failing test. You copy paste a block of code you don't fully understand, but it works. You commit with a vague message like whip fix and push it. A wave of relief washes over you, immediately followed by a wave of something else, a faint, lingering shame. You tell yourself, I'll refactor it later, but you know deep down, later might never come. That code, that messy, uncommented, shortcut-laden code is a part of you. It's the code you hope no one else on your team ever sees. It's your secret. It's what Carl Jung would call your shadow. The shadow isn't inherently evil. It's simply the part of ourselves that we repress, deny, or are ashamed of. It's everything we don't want to be. For a coder who prides themselves on logic, elegance, and intelligence, the shadow is often made up of our laziness, our ignorance, our impatience, and our good enough solutions. It's the technical debt we knowingly create. It's the documentation we skip because we find it boring. It's the frustration that bubbles up when a junior developer asks a stupid question. It's every to-do, fix this later, that becomes a permanent resident in the codebase. Jung gave us a powerful, if not unsettling, piece of wisdom on this. He said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The latter procedure, however, is disagreeable and therefore not popular. Disagreeable and therefore not popular. Doesn't that perfectly describe a pull request review where someone points out your laziest work? Or that sinking feeling when a production bug is traced back to a shortcut you took months ago? It's deeply uncomfortable. Our natural instinct is to defend it, deny it, or blame the circumstances. I didn't have time. The requirements were unclear. It's just temporary. But what happens when we do this? What happens when we push our shadow away and pretend it doesn't exist? It doesn't disappear. It grows stronger in the dark. In software development, a repressed shadow manifests in the most destructive ways. The quick hack you pushed without understanding it? It breaks a completely unrelated part of the system 2 months from now, and no one knows why. The documentation you failed to write? It forces the next developer to waste days, reverse engineering your logic, breeding resentment, and slowing the whole team down. The impatience you showed to a junior dev? It creates a culture of fear where people are afraid to ask questions, and small mistakes snowball into catastrophic failures because no one dared to speak up. Your personal shadow becomes the team's shadow, and eventually it gets embedded into the system itself. We've all seen it. That one mysterious, terrifying file in a legacy codebase that no one dares to touch. utils, misc helpers, do not delete JS. It's buggy, it's unreadable, it has no tests. It is the accumulated shadow of a dozen developers who chose the easy path, who pushed their bad code into the dark and ran. That file is the monster in the basement, and the more we ignore it, the more power it has over us. So what do we do? Jung's answer is not to destroy the shadow. That's impossible. You cannot delete a part of your own psyche. The answer is to integrate it, to make the darkness conscious. This is the most courageous work a developer can do, and we already have rituals for it, even if we don't call them by that name. Think about a truly healthy code review. It's not a trial where you are judged. It's a process of integration. When your teammate points out a flaw, they are holding up a mirror to your shadow. They're saying, I see this part of you, the rushed part, the part that was tired. Let's bring it into the light and fix it together. When you receive that feedback without defensiveness, when you can say, you're right, that was a lazy solution. Let's think of a better way. You are performing an act of incredible psychological strength. You are robbing the shadow of its power by exposing it to the light of consciousness. You are integrating it. You are saying, yes, I am a developer who is sometimes tired and takes shortcuts, and I am a developer who is committed to improving that. Refactoring is another form of shadow integration. Going back to that, I'll fix it later. Code is a conscious choice to face your past shortcuts. It's a dialogue with your past self. It's cleaning up the darkness you left behind. Every time you do this, the system becomes more whole, and so do you. Even a post-mortem, after a production outage, is a shadow integration ceremony. When a team can sit down and honestly say, I made a mistake here, or our process failed here, without assigning blame, they are making the collective shadow conscious. And that is how you build a resilient, anti-fragile team and system. You learn from the darkness instead of being consumed by it. This is not easy. It requires humility. It requires you to let go of the ego's desire to be seen as the flawless 10x engineer. It requires you to embrace the messy, imperfect, human reality of building complex things with other messy, imperfect humans. But the reward is immense. When you are no longer terrified of your own bad code, you become a better programmer. You write with more honesty. You ask for help sooner. You estimate your timelines more realistically because you account for your own human limitations. You become a mentor who can teach junior developers that it's okay to make mistakes, because mistakes are where the real learning happens. By integrating your shadow, you don't become perfect. You become whole. And a whole engineer is infinitely more effective, creative, and resilient than a perfect one who is secretly terrified of their own reflection in the IDE. So, the next time you feel that twinge of shame after a quick and dirty commit, don't push it away. Pause. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, okay, that's my shadow. And then ask the powerful, integrating question, what's my plan to bring this into the light? The shadow in your IDE is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. It's the gatekeeper to a deeper understanding of yourself and your craft. Make it conscious, integrate it, and watch yourself and your code transform. The journey of individuation is the journey of a lifetime. For us, it happens in the quiet hum of a server, in the frustration of a failed test, and in the elegance of a perfect algorithm. Join us next time on The Digital Psyche, where we'll explore the alchemy of burnout and ask the question, what happens when the ego demands what the soul abhors? Until then, code consciously.